Merry Christmas, hello and welcome to the Puzzle Solving Tips of the Year series, aka PSTOY, an amazing collaboration of some of the best mechanical puzzle creators and solvers in the world. We hope this crash course will help you with your next solve. This is the second video in the series and there are many more excellent tips in the playlist, so make sure you check it out, and the next tip is from Doc Hitchcock. In this video, I'm going to give you some tips of my own when solving one of my favorite types of mechanical puzzle, the super satisfying packing puzzle. A quick intro, packing puzzle is a genre where the solver needs to pack all the pieces into some sort of container. They can be 2-dimensional, 3-dimensional, 3-dimensional with restricted opening, and even packing puzzles without a container. The reason I really love these puzzles is because they are extremely satisfying at the last moment when the last piece falls into place. There is just no better feeling in the world. On top of that, we are always solving many packing puzzles in real life, just that you haven't realized. Packing things into a suitcase, clothing into a drawer, dirty dishes into a dishwashing machine, food into a fridge. Anyway, back to the puzzle solving tip. So in general, when I approach a packing puzzle, the first thing I do is to try and visualize how the final state should look like. Some are very obvious, like these where the pieces have to make a 3x3x3 cube. So with this, the Akaki Picnic Basket series, I'll try to make the cube outside the basket. This is a restricted opening, so it's a two-phase problem. First, we have to figure out how the cube will be constructed, so we do it outside the basket. So a 3x3x3 cube can be made like this. Once we've figured out how the cube should look like, we have to decide which is the bottom, which is the top, and how it goes into the restricted container. For this one, it's not too difficult. It's one of the easier ones, but it can still be quite challenging. The first piece is like this. It goes in with a rotation, and then we have to figure out which piece goes in first. So this one can go in and rotate 90 degrees. And finally, this piece goes in like a step ladder, and the puzzle is solved. So from this puzzle, we learned that we have to make the puzzle cube outside the container before actually putting it in. The second puzzle, which is a coup by Dr. Volker Tusek, I'll demonstrate another tip or another strategy to solve puzzles. This one is quite tricky. It consists of 9 identical shaped L pieces like this. We can use the tip we've learned just now where we have to build the structure outside the container, but now we have another skill which we can use is to decide how the last pieces can be put into the container. So it's this way, straight down, and with that knowledge we can work backwards and decide how the pieces can go into the box. So this is the final structure which has to be fit into the container, and now we can decide how the pieces can go in. As I've said earlier, these two pieces can be placed directly into the opening, so we can eliminate these two and consider it later. This one can be slid out and taken out like this. Now we can take out these two by moving it and rotate it a little bit. And at this point it's quite easy because we only have to work with 4 pieces, and as long as we have figured out how these pieces go in, so these two go in first, and then we can slowly work our way back to the end. This one slides in, and then the last two can just go directly straight into the box. So that's solved. Then we'll use this one as another demonstration. This is the Excellent Casino by Dr. Volker Tusek again. This is one of my favorite packing puzzles, maybe the second or the third favorite, but it's a really fun one. This one, you see that we have 6 pieces of same size, same shape, circular chips, and we have to place everything inside the box. And the clue is that given it's 6 pieces, it's even number, it usually has a symmetrical shape, so we have to build it like this, and we have to find how we can place all the chips so that it's symmetrical, some sort of symmetry anyway. So with this, you can see we can build a cube with this arrangement, like this. So the bottom is the top layer and the bottom layer, and now we can start to place the pieces inside to see where the restrictions go. Now as you can see, we can place this in, but then we are stuck and we cannot place any more pieces in. So that is not the correct piece to go in first. Then we can apply what we've learned, and we found out that this piece can be placed into the box last, where this can be placed directly into the box. So that with that information we can discard that piece for now, and we have to think of how we place the second penultimate piece into the box. So if we slide this in, we can place this inside, and now we've reached a position where we can directly place the last piece into the box, and it's solved. So a quick recap for now is that first we figure out the structure outside the container, second if we can use Symmetry to help to build the structure, and third decide which is the last piece to go in. This leads us to the final restricted 3D packer, which is this one, Bon. This is a very fun but extremely challenging puzzle. One point that I want to demonstrate with this puzzle is that if it requires rotation within a container, you should try and work out which pieces will interrupt the rotations. So for example here, if we place the long 4x1 piece inside, then it will block all the rotations for other pieces like this one. So I can't rotate this T-shaped piece. And now this gives us a clue that the long 4x1 piece will be likely the last piece to go in. By the process of elimination, we can work out the sequence of the pieces when we should put which piece into the box, and basically with these tips we will be able to solve most of the 3D packing puzzles. I say most because there are a few exceptions. Watch till the end and I'll show you a crazy puzzle which breaks all the rules. Now we move on to the different type of packing puzzle, the 2D packing puzzles into a tray. The goal is exactly the same, which is to place all the pieces into the container. And for container, this is a 2D tray. You may think it's much easier given that we have removed one dimension from the puzzle, so it should be less of a challenge, but I can promise you they can be very, very difficult. For example, Yu Asaka's Wave 7 puzzle, this one. It seems that every piece can be fit lengthwise like this, and it fits perfectly, and you place 6 pieces into the tray and everything looks very promising until it doesn't. The great 2D packing puzzles plays with the solver's perceptions. The misdirection can be very strong, and my tip here is to throw away your assumptions and try to think out of the box. For example, this one, if you want to solve it, you don't place the pieces all parallel like this. What you need is to reframe the problem, and then you can be able to solve it. Let me show you the same thing with another puzzle by Yu Asaka. This one is Oleo 10, and again the black pieces can be fit into the frame like this, perfectly. But then you can't fit all the red dots into the frame. So throw away your assumptions and then try to reframe the whole problem and prepare to be surprised. Next is this 5L. Again, if you place everything properly and align them to the corners, then you'll find out that 5 of the L's will not fit. So try to think out of the box, or you may actually find the solution. This is the Nosy puzzle by Alexander Holroyd, and with this I can demonstrate the same tip I gave you during the 3D packing session, where we have to find a pattern or a symmetry. So you can see the symmetry of the pieces, the red ones at the corners, the green ones opposite each other, and now we can place this into the center. Not like this, but at an angle. So a little bit of reframing, but you get the point. And with this one, I want to tell you that usually the most obvious solution will not be the solution that it's intended. So if this one, it looks like a square and the pieces have right angles at one corner, usually when you place everything at corners, it will not work. So remember, try to avoid the obvious. Another quick recap: first, reframe the puzzle. Second, avoid the obvious solutions. And thirdly, symmetry still helps with 2D packing puzzles. Not all 2D packing puzzles are full of trickery, like this one, the Paper Fleet, which is more straightforward and requires only patience and a lot of trial and error. And then we move on to the 3D packing puzzle without restrictions. Again, it may seem very easy to have removed the restrictions for the container, but again, it's not. This puzzle is called the dictionary case, and we have to place all the 5 wooden pieces into the thin container. And we can use the tip that we've learned earlier, which we can try to work out the structure outside the container, and then we can put everything in. So with these, the challenge will be to figure out the structure itself, and placing into the container is relatively easy. However, given it's easy to put into the container, the challenge can be very difficult when trying to make the structure. For example, this one, the Pack 6 by Eric Fuller. This one is super difficult to work out the structure. It took me a long time and a lot of patience to solve it. I can't figure out the logic or the mathematics behind this puzzle. Even without the restrictions, usually these 3D packing puzzles can be super difficult to solve. Earlier in the video, I mentioned that there are these outlier puzzles which breaks all the rules and my tips just won't work. And this is one of them. This is Euclid for Kids by Volker Letusek, and it is one of my favorite packing puzzles of all time. The first thing you will realize is that the three pieces are relatively small against the container, so it's basically impossible to be certain about the end state. There is no symmetry with the pieces, and there seems to be no obvious way to place the last piece in. Two of the pieces can also be rotated inside the box, and we don't know which one should go in first. With these types of puzzles, we can only keep grinding until something clicks, reaching the aha moment and marvel at the designer's genius. The cleverness of this puzzle is that the largest piece actually goes in last, and we need to do 2 more rotations after all pieces are inside the container to solve the puzzle. I have made detailed videos of all the puzzles featured in this video, and I have left links in the description below for you to check them out. So there you are, these are some of my tips of solving one of my favorite type of puzzle. Let me know in the comments below if you have a different approach. If you find this helpful, please like and subscribe for more. This is the second video of the Puzzle Solving Tips of the Year series. If you haven't watched the first video by Puzzle Wanderer, check it out in the playlist here. Also, the next tip is a very romantic one by Doc Hitchcock. Go and watch it. This is Downtime Fun, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!